Hey, welcome. Hello, everybody. I'm looking over to my right, because I've got to do the go live over on Instagram. Okay. All right. Ryan, we are live in all the places.
Great.
So excited to be with Ryan here today. I'm going to introduce him in just a minute. But first of all, I want to welcome everyone and happy Thursday. It's so funny. It seems like the weeks go by so fast that it's like it's always Thursday. It's like Groundhog Day. I swear.
Yeah.
Like
It's
when?
better than Monday for
Yeah,
grandma.
true. I actually really like Thursdays and Fridays. I bring them on. They're my favorite days. All right. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Live with Leslie. And if we've not met, I would love to say hello. I'm Leslie Vitale, business strategist and mentor specifically for health pros who want to scale beyond one-on-one and build leveraged profitable practices. So that is what I do every day, and I've been doing this work for almost 11 years, which is shocking. It went by really fast. So, what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to delve into what I really think you're going to find as a game-changing topic. And I am so happy to have my special guest, Ryan Meravi from VT Web Marketing. VT is in Vermont. And we are talking about how to combine AI and Google My Business to attract better qualified leads, so patients and clients, and doing so without hiring extra staff or, best part, without spending hours chasing unqualified leads. So huge. So here's the deal. If you've ever felt like managing inquiries is just really eating up a lot of your time, which is very understandable, or if you're feeling like, especially with all these changes with AI, you're a little bit more, shall we say, invisible on Google, I think you're going to really get a ton of value. So let's go ahead and jump in. I want to first welcome Ryan. And again, Ryan is from VT Web Marketing. So Ryan, instead of me reading your bio, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So, Ryan Meravi from VT Web Marketing. I'm the founder, and we have our headquarters in Vermont, and then also we have satellite offices down here in Cali, Colombia. So that's where I
How
am.
exciting. I heard Colombia is gorgeous.
It is.
Just gorgeous.
Yeah.
I have a friend who did a mountain or a bike trip there and said it was the hardest trip. Like the biking was so hard because it's very mountainous, right?
Oh yeah. The mountains are insane here.
Yeah.
Sure.
So she was like, yeah, not easy. But anyway, I think it's really interesting that so you have a satellite office now in Colombia, which is super cool. So how did you get into this area of work? I always like to hear a little bit about the backstory.
So I started working, I just realized that I celebrated like 20 years in this industry this month.
Okay.
So I worked for a company called PowerShift, and we were an internet service provider. And so basically they provided internet services like internet access, even dial-up, if you believe that. I started in 2005. But they also hosted an email and website. So when I first joined, I was in tech support, and then just climbed the ladder pretty quickly. And then we didn't design or develop websites, and I thought that was a big missing service. So I approached the boss, the owner, and he was keen into allowing me to establish this department, and then sort of grew it, and it started growing fast because we had a lot of clients. And then in 2012, I went off on my own, and I started, because we were missing the marketing piece. We would build, it was more like burn and burn, just build, a website and then let the people deal with it, which became problematic, especially because people wouldn't keep their website up to date and so forth. So, I figured I should go all in, do marketing. So I kind of left them.
So you kind of built up the marketing end.
Yeah. And then I started in 2016, acquired their web design customers and then moved my office actually into their building because they have rental spots.
Okay.
So it was a win-win. Yeah.
Very nice. So let's get into our topic. Let's dig in because I know we've got health practitioners joining us, and I'm sure we can all relate as providers. Tell us why this topic is so critical. Time and cost just being such a big challenge for health pros in private practice, especially related to managing those inbound inquiries. Fingers crossed that you're getting those. I guess that's the first thing, right? But let's just assume for the sake of this part of our conversation that the inquiries are coming in and it's a bit of a time suck. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so right now, like I could give you a good like case study. We're actually building MedBotPro, which is a platform that allows practitioners to create their own AI chatbot and train it. I feel that most places will need customization. So, it might not be, we might need to hop in there and get an initial workflow built out. But the idea is eventually that, what you can do is log in and train the data, train what data you want the AI bot to know.
Okay.
And then we have, like areas for lead generation. So whether you want people to sign up to, for a newsletter or schedule an appointment. But going back to where you first started was lead qualification, right? So we're working with Aya, naturopathic medicine. And they now with telehealth and stuff, so they're able to practice medicine in specific states via telehealth, and then they have a brick and mortar. So what the beautiful thing is that we can pre-qualify people. Like Sarah was telling me the other day that she was on the phone with someone from North Carolina, and it took her a while to figure out that they can't even treat this patient.
Oh, yeah, licensure.
Yeah,
exactly. Okay, so that would be
the chatbot will pre-qualify depending, like what states, what state are you in, and it collects the, in a nonchalant, just conversational matter, like gets the lead information's name and that email address in the beginning, and then the whole chat is basically saved, and then eventually will be emailed on a daily basis. All the chats. But, we can customize it and really get people to schedule appointments, use your knowledge base. So we can also scrape the website. So each page on the website, we'll scrape that to get knowledge. And then we prioritize sort of training, like which knowledge is more, like which knowledge should come first in like an order, right? Because we want the AI. The thing with AI is if you don't have a workflow set up, sometimes it can hallucinate, which is not a good thing.
No.
Yeah.
Give us an example of what.
Well, if it doesn't know anything, sometimes it'll just try to make something up, right? So unless you really tell it, unless you have those conversation blocks and then like what to pull next, then it could hallucinate and just make stuff up. So.
Okay.
We don't want that to happen.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want that to happen, right? Making stuff up.
No. Especially when it comes to medical care, nor do we want them to, this is a sensitive subject because we don't want to pass any sort of, information that could violate HIPAA. Anything sensitive.
True. Okay. Yeah. So we're very aware of the HIPAA regulations. Okay. So I love it. So basically let's go back to the question. So you've got a solution, which you talked about. But what is there anything you'd like to add about just the time and cost being such a challenge?
Well, yeah, especially with practitioners. I mean, they're busy with patients all day. Some of them, these smaller practices, they don't have a receptionist.
Okay, exactly. I would say like everyone that I work with for the most part, I love these smaller, size practices. But yeah, they don't have. And the other thing is, we're not always looking at brick and mortar, right? Where you walk in and you say hello to a receptionist. Like, things have really shifted in that regard. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Google My Business. Now, first of all, did they change the name? Is it still called Google My Business?
GMB?
Yeah.
Yeah, not that. I mean, I didn't
Okay.
notice.
Okay. I don't know why I was thinking maybe they changed. I must have made that up. I dreamt it. All right. Well, tell us a little bit about that, because
Sure.
for some of us, we only wish we had the problem of too many people reaching out and struggling to manage that, right? So what about, when you're relatively new, you don't have all these channels dialed in. Tell us about the importance of Google My Business in terms of helping practitioners, doctors, chiropractors, naturopath, nutritionists,
Yeah.
dietitians. How can it help them get to get, be found online?
Yeah. So, I mean, I got a stat, 86% is Google Maps usage. So users rely on Google Maps for discovering local business, about 86%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then 75%, so 3/4 of local searches end with a visit to the business. So if they do have a brick and mortar, the intent is there. When
Yeah.
they search for something, and then, especially with practitioners, if they have a brick and mortar, then, as long as you're within the search radius, right? Like within a travel radius, then
Yeah.
the odds are that they're going to visit your practice and become a patient.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, especially so, and this was something that, as you know, from our conversations, I personally kind of struggled with, because I don't have a brick and mortar. I never have. So, and I got to tell you, I was always told or under the impression that if you don't have an address, you cannot do a Google My Business. What do
Yeah,
we call
that
it?
was the case. That was the case in the past. Now
Okay.
you create a service area business, hide it doesn't show your actual address.
Okay.
And then you define a service area radius, right? So that could be the whole United States, really, or
Okay.
even further.
Which is
When
what
people
we
are
did.
searching for things in your category, because Google knows, that so many businesses, especially after COVID, have really changed the way that they,
Okay. Good.
they do business. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, bottom line is, it's no longer the case that you absolutely have to have a physical address to leverage Google My Business. That's changed. But you do need, I know,
Yeah.
understand, you need a phone number, right?
Yes, that's like in your case where we set you up with a phone number.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah, required.
Okay. So yeah, so Ryan is helping me do these things. I'm kind of one of his guinea pigs, shall we say, which I'm excited about. And I didn't want to just put my cell phone on,
Yeah.
this listing. So, and the other thing, just saying, for me personally, I kind of like I don't have my phone number listed anywhere. Okay. And I'm not saying I recommend that, to be clear. There's definitely some disadvantages, but for me, I would rather people, reach out like through my website or through just another avenue, instead of having another thing to check, i.e. voicemail. So we are setting it up a little bit differently than perhaps many of you would go about it. So, okay. So what are some quick wins? Let's dish on the quick wins, shall we, Ryan?
Yeah, sure. So I have a
do?
little bit about like why the competitors win. So which is quick wins for,
Yeah.
for everyone is And this kind of goes not only just in Google, but across the web, because there's other directories besides Google My Business that you need to kind of really think about, right? So the biggest problem is incorrect name, address, phone number, right? So your Google My Business looks great, like you have the right phone number, but then on other directories and other third-party listing, like websites that you're listed on, that could be different. So that actually sends, like tells Google, especially, like it doesn't provide trust. So making sure
Okay.
name, address, phone number is consistent across the board. And then also,
So are you saying like, okay, so like I live on Ivy Road, right? So are you saying,
if you're showing your business address,
yeah,
it's got to be consistent across Facebook, across
okay. Now,
anything that asks you
does
to
it,
put your address in.
are we talking like I can't, like if I'm going to abbreviate RD Road, it needs to be that way across the board?
Yeah,
Okay. I have heard that. Okay. So is everyone clear on that? Like, I don't really
I see
understand
that a
why.
lot.
So like if you're going to abbreviate AVE, you got to do it everywhere, not like Avenue here, Ave there. You know what I mean? Okay. Because
Yeah,
it
and I
can
recommend
be,
using your GMB listing as like the source, right? So
mm,
when I run audits, we use that as the source of information
okay.
um, to
Excellent.
be accurate. And then we'll see a lot of times that people won't include their suite number.
Oh, so they do it sometimes, but not others. Okay.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
really need to ramp up consistency on those listings. Okay. And speaking of which, do you provide a service? I think you do,
we do.
where
Yes.
one
Yeah,
of
we
the,
do. We have a service
tell us
that
about that.
it's citation building campaign. I'm switching the name to the visibility vault, which will be
Ooh,
available
I like it.
soon.
Good
Yeah, and
marketing.
we provide the audit and then different tiers of how many directories that you want your business to be listed in. Like
Okay.
best practices for local SEO. I like to call this like the foundational part of that local SEO, because this is where, especially new businesses, when you don't have a website that's been established for a while, the
Mhm.
search engines will look to these directories as like proof and
Oh, okay.
more information about the
Okay.
practices. Yeah. So
Okay.
whether that be
So
a
this
better
is
health
really key.
profile, yeah,
Sorry, there's a little delay, I think, with maybe you being in Colombia. There's always a delay anyway. But anyways, I don't need to talk over you. Um, that being said, one of the strategies that I always teach, like early on, especially with new people, is let's try to enlarge that footprint, that online footprint, by populating directory listings. So, that all being said, what I'm hearing from you, Ryan, is that this is a service you provide. And it's not,
yeah,
are
yeah.
there list directories that like normal people just don't know about? Like why couldn't I just do it myself?
You
Why?
could certainly,
Okay.
and we can provide when we provide an audit. We'll actually give you the information. So if you want to do an audit
Okay.
and do it yourself, I'm happy
Okay.
to give it to you. And you could actually see the different directories. But it's
Cool.
about time, right?
Yeah,
Because
it is.
literally creating a login for, whether it's
Oh, all
50
the,
or 30 or 100 different listings,
yeah.
to get them pre-populated across or populated across all of them, we provide an actual login. And then once we get them,
Oh,
the listings built out, then we
yeah.
provide next steps, like because some need to be manually verified, like
Okay,
Apple
got
Maps
it.
is one of them. Yeah.
All right, guys. So here's a takeaway. I think this is a pearl, in my opinion, especially if you're in the early phases, and especially if you don't quite have enough leads coming in. Who wouldn't want more? Just saying. Um, let's take a look at those directory listings. And if you don't want to do it yourself, hey, I'm a fan of delegation. Let me just tell you, I have no problem delegating. That's just me, because I know that I am not good, or I just don't have the patience to do certain things like that. I would say reach out to Ryan. I just put his email on the screen, ryan@vtmarketing.com. Let him know where you learned about his work. Let him know that, of course, that you learned about him through this live stream. And I think you said you do like a special audit or something, right, Ryan, for people that reach out?
Yeah, so I'm trying to join the chat.
Okay.
And I'll put that in.
Let's see.
So if you go to VT Web Marketing, I
Yeah.
think it's just vtwebmarketing.com
.com. Okay.
/audit.
Oh.
So you can start with an
Okay.
audit there, or you could just email me the business.
Okay. Let me create a little banner here. VTmarketing.com, right?
VT Web Marketing
Oh, VT Web Marketing. Okay, got it.
/audit.
/audit. Okay.
Yep.
All right, let me add that and I will put that here. Okay, cool. So if you guys want some, I would just do an audit. Like, why not, right? Get to have a better understanding in terms of where the holes are in your process so that we can get more leads coming in without it requiring you to hit the pavement, because it just makes it harder. So why not lean into tech is what I say, especially if someone can do it for you. When you're someone like me who isn't like super techy. All right. So just really want to drive home, guys, the importance of populating those directory listings. Really, really, really important. Okay. So that's I would say a quick win, right? Any other quick wins that we can utilize to improve our Google profile?
Yeah, I mean, just go through the profile and
Okay.
make sure that all the categories, add as many categories as possible that fit within your business.
Okay.
2 days ago, I had one of our clients. He's got 2 locations, and he was wondering why he wasn't showing up for searches. And I looked at his GMB profile, and the first thing I saw was that he was improperly categorized. So he was missing thousands of dollars of business. Yeah.
Oh.
Because he set it up a couple of years ago, and then Google has changed. So if you're in that case, you might want to make sure that there's, because they do change categories. So if your GMB profile has been stagnant, I would recommend logging in and making sure it's properly categorized.
Okay.
With the primary category, as your primary service, and then
interesting.
any subcategory. Yeah.
Okay, so that categorization is key. And so basically the takeaway here is it's changed, like the options have changed over the past few years. So just make sure that you go in and update that is what I'm hearing. Okay. So even with an optimized profile, why do so many professionals end up with unqualified leads? Like that example you gave us, our mutual client who is a naturopathic doctor, and she ended up, it sounds like, honestly, wasting time getting on a call with a prospective client only to find out, newsflash, I can't work with you in a private one-on-one capacity because you live in a different state and I'm not licensed there. Right. So I think that's a really great example of, let's just be honest, not a good use of your time. Right. It'd be really nice to know that before you block out your schedule and get on a call. So why is this happening?
Well, I would say making sure that, especially if you have a service radius, it depends, because now with telehealth, you might be licensed in a few different states, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So optimizing it, but just also too, verbiage on the website when people look for more information, and or just putting it in your description. So when people look at it, they realize like I didn't land him as a customer, but I was engaged with talking to a medical doctor who only treats men, but yet the name of his business was like included family medicine. And I said, well, people would get very confused with that, so just very simple things like, I always like keep things simple, like look for the obvious before you dig into, it's like just simple things. Adding the right verbiage could certainly help with lead qualification on your listing.
Okay, interesting. So, okay, which I think is so key. So, like, can you just kind of explain a little bit, because there's so much confusion around search engine optimization, and what can we do in this day and age of half the page being filled with AI, the AI summary?
Oh, to get so that's.
I know that's kind of maybe a curveball, but can you comment on that? Like, is blogging worthwhile, in your opinion?
Certainly, yes.
Okay.
Especially when you're going for long tail keywords, definitely. And
okay,
then,
so blogging is not out.
No, and
all right.
It also too, you want to basically be as detailed on your service pages and answer as many questions as possible. So AI, when they do scrape it and find content, like they look at you as the authority, right? And the only way that you can become an authority is by producing high quality content that actually users get value from.
Okay.
So that's where blogging comes in, but also building out. So if you have 5 different services or you treat 5 different things, and really building out those pages and doing FAQs are, definitely help with the AI generation, but AI tends to pull in excerpts from the people that rank within the top 2, really.
Okay.
So that really starts with SEO.
Okay. Let's see.
I think you should at your website too. There's some technical things. You could inadvertently make it so AI bots are able or unable to scrape your website content. So you can actually direct them to that. It's a little bit more on the technical side, but
which is so interesting. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about the MedBotPro. Okay, can you share a little bit more on how? You gave us a little bit of insight, but any more details that you can share in terms of how this can actually help us as health professionals, especially when managing? Let me rephrase this. How can we use it to ensure that the leads coming in are qualified? Like, what is that going to look like? And I think you might have a slide. Did you want to show a slide? Or not?
Well, what I can tell you, like, I think I can show you the conversational flow, but like what we set up for IA specifically, going back to them, where they're asking like what state. That's the first thing, after you tell that your name and your email address, it asks you what state you live in. So you're pretty qualified right there. And then with the knowledge, that they provided us, telling where they can treat that, the AI knows that. So if you say different state, they're going to tell you, okay, I'm sorry, we don't treat, or we can't even perform telehealth in that state, but here's a link to look up another naturopathic doctor in that state. So it still provides them some resources, even though that they can't help them. You know what I mean?
Okay. So, all right. So, is there anything that you want to show us on the screen, or no?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys would, do you think it'd be helpful for people to see?
Yeah. Why don't you just? I mean, I think with tech stuff, it might be helpful if you maybe show us a little bit of this flow. Can you do let's see if you can do a screen share.
Yeah.
Guys, just give us a second. We're gonna try to show. In addition to tell, we're gonna do a little visual, I think.
So I'm gonna just show you the platform and like how.
Okay, cool.
So this would be the login, right?
Okay, cool.
Back. This is MedBotPro. It's not up in production, so people will be able to start a free trial. These stuff is placeholder, but if I sign in as someone that creates the practice, and I'm using IA again as an example. So it provides an overview on the dashboard, and then this will just kind of tell you what the things are. But when you start diving into setting it up, here you go to your practice information, give it your practice name, phone number, email, website. This is a little more technical, but here's where you set up the chatbot. And so here, this is basically the external API. That's more technical, but you don't have to do anything with that. It gets done automatically. But this is where you can upload documents and for training, right?
Oh, okay.
And then you could also search, if you've already included like appointment scheduling in your training material. And then if you did, then you could just or if you didn't, you could upload something, just regenerate AI embeddings. I'm going to change that to something a little bit less techy. But then I talked to you about importing from websites. So here you could scrape one URL at a time from your website. So that way you can leave out any URL that you don't want. Going down a little bit, Q&A pairs. This is also knowledge and just another way to add specific information that you want the AI to know. So I try to give it, as many different ways to provide the chatbot information. So here we could control.
So basically, and excuse me just for 1 second, because I see people have joined on Instagram. So I just want to say hello and welcome. And since you guys just hopped on, what we're illustrating is a new, very cool chatbot, an integration that you can potentially put on your website to help direct people who find you in the right direction, but just so you guys know, to help better qualify leads. And so we're kind of opening the hood, right? Ryan is opening the hood.
Just showing the back end of it right now, like how people would set it up on their own. So then I gave it chatbot personality and behavior. So you give it a bot name, a welcome message. You could chatbot tone. They decided a custom tone, so we put that in for them. But these are actually, this is one thing that I really like is the call to action buttons. So book a discovery call with a link, right? And then we're going to track this as a lead when it's clicked. Log into the patient portal, track it as a lead. Check out our events, track as a lead. General FAQs, track as leads. So anything that can be tracked as leads, that's going to go into the reporting that you'll be able to see in the dashboard. You could also
sorry, I was going to ask. Does the person, for it to be a lead, does the person need to populate their name and email?
Yeah, that actually, so that would actually get captured anyway in the beginning. But if, we're going to have different things. So if they actually book a call, that's what I would call a lead, right?
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And then we have the ability to customize the appearance, change the colors, and you could create a custom icon to reposition it on your website. And then this is notifications. So if you enable email notifications, you could have them sent daily, weekly summary, monthly summary. Then we also have deploy, which is a little bit more, this is like where you would copy the script and paste it. I envision us helping people do this a little bit more.
Okay.
Then we got analytics. So it shows you like how many conversions in the last month, how many leads generated. This is still a work in progress. We're tying that in right now to the actual API. So we'll have this data like live, right? So it'll actually be all tied in. And then the last one's like leads, because that's what we're the most concerned with.
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to see total leads this month, and then the conversion rate.
Yeah.
So that way you could quantify, the cost of MedBotPro.
Okay. All right, cool. So that's a little peek under the hood, right? In terms of kind of the back end of setting this up. So when is this ready to, like, when can people sign up?
Well, right now, actually, if people get in touch with us and they're interested, we can start working with them and building out, because each practice is different and there's going to need to be some customization from us to help them get it set up initially.
Okay.
Yeah, so we could start doing that while it's being finalized. Yeah.
So my takeaway so far, well, a few things, but the importance of Google My Business, again, for those of you that are just hopping on, like, make sure that you are optimizing and really filling in and make sure that you're categorized correctly. Otherwise, you risk losing leads. Super, super important. Even if you don't have a physical address, you can still use Google My Business, which was news to me. Populate those directory listings. Really super important to increase your visibility online. If that feels overwhelming, delegate, right?
Yeah, and then one other thing too is good photography in the photos. You want to, especially if you got a brick and mortar, you want to see the people that you're working with. You want to see a shot outside, anything that can help the patient get to the house, get to the.
Oh, you mean on your Google My Business?
Yeah, exactly. So photography, same with the website though, just professional photography.
Oh yeah. I think most people hopefully are doing that nowadays, but yeah, for sure. I think uploading some photos, in your Google My Business is super important, just to give people, they want to know what it feels like to work with you. What is that going to look like? Even, I would say, well, I was going to say, even if it's a virtual practice, but yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Like, if I don't have an office, see a picture of where I'm working.
Yeah, it helps, especially to connect with you on a personal level.
Yeah,
I saw that you've been getting reviews, which is great too, because now we can start displaying them on the website. That's another key element that we didn't catch on or talk upon.
Oh, okay.
Making sure that you get reviewed, and you want to ask, especially what helps is if you say like the city, have the patient say, if you're in multiple areas.
Okay.
If you do telehealth, I connected via telehealth from North Carolina and spoke with Dr. Jeffrey, and it was great. You know what I mean?
I see.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so basically add your location, ask your patient or client in the review to add a location. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if they could. I mean, obviously, if you have some system that you're asking for the review, I would say it does not hurt whatsoever, and highly recommend giving them a little explanation on how they can help with the review.
Okay. Okay, got it. All right, super important. So guys, I think what I am taking away is we got to spend a little more time nurturing and updating the Google My Business, right? And does your chatbot, does this help automate getting Google reviews? Because I know that's a whole nother, like, we could do a whole entire talk on that.
We certainly could. We could create, the chatbot, I think it would have to be after it's a patient, so we could certainly set up an automation.
True. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, we set up any automations that,
Okay.
we're happy to audit too, people's workflows internally and see if we could set up automations to help them.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, because one of my clients, I just recall this conversation, a big naturopathic practice in California. And I remember talking with her about the importance of getting Google reviews. And she reminded me, she was like, well, automating it sounds great, but if you're doing like packages and programs, you don't want to be asking every single time the patient comes in, right? Hey, give me another review. It's like,
yeah,
we're going to get sick of that real fast. So you'd have to set it up so that you're asking for a review. If you're working with a patient over time, right? Like you don't want to be asking them every single visit, because how annoying would that be? So somehow, I don't know how you do that on the back end, but we definitely need to take that into consideration, right?
Yeah, there could certainly be, a way that you figure out who hasn't reviewed you yet, and then maybe do a check against it and see.
Okay. Yeah, and on the topic of testimonials, just want to mention for everyone listening, guys, so important. Okay, Google, of course, we really want to lean into Google and get those reviews on Google My Business. But just want to emphasize how important it is, because social proof in this day and age, like when is the last time you bought anything without looking at a review? Like, oh my gosh, you just don't anymore. So get those reviews. And the other thing I will say is don't wait until the client is done and gone to ask. So really, I would just say little added recommendation here. And there's actually some research on this that says the best time to ask for that testimonial is actually when they're about a third of the way through your program. Like that's the first touch point. And then you can ask them later to update their testimonial as needed. But, it's kind of like that, like the honeymoon period, right? Like they're so excited and they're getting results. And so that is really, really important. So don't wait. I guess that is, first of all, do it. And second of all, don't wait until they're done and gone, because you're probably not going to have very good, results with people following through. Okay, so that is a little bit on the importance of getting those reviews. And certainly for the sake of our conversation with Ryan, we really want to hone in and get those reviews on Google My Business. Now there's an algorithm, is there not, with Google My Business? Like, again, I don't know. Like, this is not.
Yeah, of course, from like a review perspective, I mean, they don't make it public, but it's definitely ties in where if you and your competitor are at par with everything else and your reviews are stronger, you're certainly going to show up higher. I mean,
okay.
It's a no.
And when you get a review, whether it's good or not so good, isn't it true that it's imperative to respond very quickly?
Yes, 100%. So even negative reviews, a lot of people just try to shy away from responding, but actually that's the most important ones to respond to, because you can turn that into something that's people look at, because they understand there's people that are gonna give you a negative review.
Yes, totally.
So if you can demonstrate how you respond in that situation, then it's just, you become more trustworthy.
Okay. Yeah. Don't shy away from it. Just respond. And I would just, of course, in a diplomatic way, thanking the person for their feedback and Yeah, but even so, whether they're good or not so good, you still want to respond, is my understanding.
Yeah. I always say though, wait 24 hours before you respond.
Okay.
Sometimes you read it and you get mad.
Oh, okay.
Let the emotion kind of get away from you and then respond.
It's really painful. I've worked with, I, that's a whole nother topic, but yeah, it's very, very challenging. Any tips on, while we're on the topic? So if you get a less than great review, we know it's like a knife through the heart, right? It's like painful and hard and just so difficult. It just is, because we're all here to serve, and I think we all do our best. A lot of times it's maybe not even about you. Just want to put that out there. Person's having just a bad day, but what do we do if so someone asked, is it not a breach of HIPAA to comment on a review? Well,
that's a good question, because
if the review is they put it on a public place, wouldn't it be okay just to say, hey, thank you for your kind words, or I'm not like thinking like you're going to reveal anything. Is there anything wrong with doing that? Just, hey, thank you for your review.
No, I mean, especially like it's as long as you're not talking about medical condition stuff. If it's
they're
just
the ones that put
the service. Yeah.
Now, one thing I will say to I think it's Lorraine and anyone else, OMG, do not ever put a review on your website or any public place without them signing off. Because yes, that would be just a terrible HIPAA violation. So I'm not sure if that's the question, but be very, very careful of that. You want to have that signed off, and you want to keep it, because you don't want them, because sometimes people forget, right? They're like, I never said that, or I never gave you permission to put it there. So you really want to just do that. Like you don't want to be violating HIPAA in that way. And so you really can I use your first name? Can I use your last name? Do we need to use initials, a fictitious name? Like, where exactly can I post your comments? That kind of thing needs to be very clearly specified. Okay. All right. So what are some next steps for professionals who want to improve their visibility on Google and leverage these really cool newly emerging tools such as MedBotPro?
Well, they could get in touch with me.
Okay.
It's the easiest.
That's probably the first thing, right?
Yeah, 2, we're doing the Google My Business Masterclass in your LCD.
Yes, can't wait. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's upcoming. I'm super excited. We will be. I've invited Ryan to do a guest workshop on Google My Business. Very excited, and I'm glad you reminded me to. I want to get the URL for my upcoming boot camp. What is it? Danielle, you're here, right? What is my URL? Oh my gosh. Okay. What is the URL? All right. Well, let's keep talking while I try to find it. What's the URL for my boot camp? Okay. What other topics do we want to cover? Any other kind of words of wisdom?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, people are looking for another good point would be conversion optimization on people's websites.
Okay.
A lot, and I'm happy to do an audit.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's just really some people don't, the website's not set up in the proper way with like clear call to actions, next steps, user flow. So, you know, we can run an audit, and there's a lot of little things that we can just find that can help a lot.
Okay.
You don't have to spend thousands of dollars to redo a website. Even
Ooh.
a few different fixes. We do have maintenance plans for
Okay.
websites that start. They're affordable and allows us,
Okay.
X amount of time a month. So that's another good thing to talk about. But yeah, performing audits on your pre-existing website. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that you said you don't need like a full on new site. Like that is kind of music to my ears because a lot of, I don't know, the feedback I hear is I don't want to fix other people's work. I want to just start from scratch. And unfortunately, it's costing a lot. But you're willing to I mean, of course, that's an option, to be clear, right? And sometimes it is better just to rip off the Band-Aid and just start over, right?
But a
But
lot of times too, especially if it's a WordPress site, we have plans specifically for WordPress sites. We can also work with Squarespace, but yeah, it's a lot more affordable. So we can, if you pay up front for a year, you get a lot of the X amount of hours, and we can actually we have a lot of clients that we've inherited their website and we're like totally transformed the way it looks and the way it works.
Okay. Okay. So bottom line is anything tech, if you want some assistance, I really would recommend you guys reach out to Ryan and just ask him to do the audit. What have you got to lose? It is free. And I think that would be great.
You can also, if you go to book.vtwebmarketing.com, there's also a free consultation. So it would be great I like to understand what people's, just more about their business, what they're looking for, their goals, and then see where we can help. From a technical perspective, I've been doing technical stuff for so long, so there might be things related to email, even just weird stuff that we can help with that a lot of people wouldn't necessarily ask us about. Yeah. I don't say no. If I don't have the answer, I'll find one.
Yeah.
Or I know someone that I could refer them to. So.
All right. So the other thing I just wanted to share briefly, I did find the URL and I posted that, or actually I put it up. So it is a little long, but it's lesliebytel.com/leveraged-offer-bootcamp. And I'd love to have you. This is free. It's happening next week, starting Wednesday. And it's happening at 6 p.m. Central Standard. So we purposefully waited until after Fancy. Fancy, by the way, Ryan, is like the big food and nutrition expo, which is happening. It's in Nashville. Anyone going, please let me know. I would love to, it's always fun to meet people in real life. So let me know if you're going. But in the meantime, save your seat at lesliebytel.com/leverage-offer-bootcamp. Again, 100% free. And I will be sharing a lot of tips and strategies, all designed to help you to begin the process of moving away from 100% reliance on one-on-one. Mainly because we all know how exhausting that is. I used to do it, and it can be very tiring. But the other thing is, guys, eventually you will run out of billable hours. Only so many hours in a day, right? So for those of you that really want to find a way to help more people, potentially in less time, doing a leveraged or just a more scalable offer is the ticket. So I'd love to have you join me. So please head on over to that website, lesliebytel.com/leverage offer bootcamp. And I hope to see you there. And also, if you're heading to Fancy, drop me a line and let me know so that we can, hopefully we can connect. I will be there. I get in Sunday night, so I'll be going to the DIFM event. I'm signed up for that, the Dietitians and Integrative Functional Medicine event, and all the stuff on Monday, and then I head out on Tuesday. So would love to connect. And I'm not doing the table this year, just FYI. So I just thought I would just, try to hang out with people because that table is so crazy. I can't really, it's just hard to have a conversation. Anyway, enough said on that. I'm excited. It's in Nashville. When's the last time you went to Nashville, Ryan?
Never.
Okay.
It's one place I want to go to. I have a client.
It's so fun.
I know.
I love it. I went to Nashville. It's probably been, how long has it been? Those of you that, I think it's been about 10 years, maybe 8 years since we had a Fancy in Nashville. And I think it was my favorite because I just love how you can walk into, it doesn't matter what, it could be like 7 a.m. and you can see live music. It's just so fun. Anyway, so I couldn't resist. I was not going to go. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I got to go. I had FOMO. What can I say? All right, guys. So we need to wrap up. I want to thank Ryan so very much for jumping on this call. As I mentioned, and I'll talk a little bit more about this, but we will be doing a really special bonus workshop style training that Ryan is going to be doing, that it will be in the paid portion of Lucrative Course Blueprint. So that is upcoming. But if you're looking for something complimentary to get your feet wet and just kind of start the process, definitely save your seat and feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues, really anyone who is wanting to start the process of moving into leveraged revenue. Okay. All right, guys. So we're going to call it today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will look forward to connecting with you all next week. And thanks again, Ryan.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Always a pleasure.